I'll second.
Roy, would you mind just announcing, well, I'll announce, we're having technical difficulties for folks tuning into the recording.
Yep, we did held off and we called the meeting to order at 4:10, so we did just get started. So hopefully we are live again. So, I'm sorry. So motion to adopt the agenda was Liz, supported by Steve. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes carry. At this point, there's no one in this room for public comment, but Hannah, do we have anyone on Zoom that would like public comment, or are we connected to anyone that could do public comment?
We are connected. No one is tuned in yet.
Okay. All right, so at this point, no public comment. So approvals, we have possible action approval of minutes from the June 14th. Tricky part is, yeah, those are included in today's things, right?
We got an email about both of them.
And they
Two
should be
different
online.
meetings, minutes.
Right.
Do we need more copies?
We'll get through what we have.
So
I don't
I guess
know.
were there any comments on the June 14th, 2023 minutes? Was there any comments on the June 14th, 2023 minutes?
I don't think so.
The motion to
Rita, I
accept,
think you had a comment.
Was that for that one, for June 14?
Oh, sorry.
Do you know which one that was for?
I can pull it
I
up.
think it was, I feel like it was September.
I read them from the email that Hannah sent earlier, and I would move to accept those.
Oh, it's, July. Are we talking about July?
There were two different
June, I'm
minutes.
sorry.
There was a June and a July.
I'll second Steve.
I did read it and I didn't see anything.
okay, so June, Steve supported, Liz seconded. Any other comments or changes on the June 14th, 2023 minutes? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes carry. So let's do possible action on minutes, approval of the minutes for July 12th, 2023. I think actually the way you're supposed to do it is you can move them and then take comments and then you. So is there someone to move the minutes? Chris will move to July 12th. But before we second,
Oh, sorry.
we'll ask
Right,
for
you
any
just said.
comments or changes or updates for the July 12th, 2023.
So under F12, Alan Samuels became Adam Samuels. So that needs to be, and that will be corrected, so we just need to make note of that.
Okay, now acknowledge that
Acknowledge that that needs to be.
Alan's name got changed, just typed or miss whatever to Adam, so we'll change, keep him Alan, we won't change his name.
Yeah.
Any other comments or corrections needed for the July 12th, 2023 minutes? The motion, you did the motion, now we need to.
Oh, second. And Steve did second.
I jumped the gun and made the motion to approve, but,
Chris did the motion, so.
oh, sorry.
That's right, on this one.
That's right. I jumped the gun and seconded ahead of time. I will now gladly second.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, now, all those in favor say aye on the July 12th, 2023 minutes.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes carry. And then our last minutes are from September 13th, 2023. Does someone want to move those?
Those I didn't see in the package or in the email.
Oh, do you have them?
Oh, no, sorry. Sorry. I thought it was just the two that were emailed earlier.
I think this goes with it.
Strike the declaration. in the minutes.
So,
There's something going on in the university. There's some sunspots here.
Do you have another one of the September 13th?
We did that. Is that voting on one and not the other? We were gonna-
Oh, yeah.
Do you guys have September 13 over there? 'Cause I have one here.
When we decided
What
to
is-
not take the deal on putting two of them together. Is
Right,
that
but
when
what
that
is
might
the acronym MEDC?
Yeah, what's
Michigan
the-
Economic MEDC, Michigan.
Economic Development Council.
And there was a reallocation of that money. Was that because we were either gonna do 2 parking lots versus 1, and we were putting 1
That
on
was
hold?
separate.
Oh, that was another
That
thing?
was-
No, that's about the phase, between phase 5 and phase 6 of the
Of
Sea
the- of
Road
the
pathway.
Yes.
And we couldn't do
Oh,
the,
yes.
couldn't put
Right,
the bridge thing down.
Yeah, so basically we took them, we got 2 grants from
Yeah.
State Rep
Now I remember.
Lizinski, and we moved the money. We allowed the township, to allow the township, they wanted to move money from phase 6 of Z to
Mhm.
phase 5 of Z.
Okay. Mhm.
Yeah,
All
okay,
right,
good.
good.
That's, I don't see that.
Yes.
Everyone have a chance to review
Yeah, I
those?
already looked at it. and it's all right.
Someone want to move September 13th, 2023?
I'll move.
We go.
Second.
We won't second just yet. So.
Sorry.
And then now is an opportunity to make any changes or edits or updates, anything we missed? Nothing?
Don't see anything.
Okay, now I'll take a second.
I second.
Second, okay. Have a second. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Minutes for September 13th, 2020. Thank you. So let's move on to reports, parks, Ben Curler. Hannah, you want to give us an update? I know there's some things that happened in the last 30 days.
Yes, so for Van Curler update, we're still in the process of having all the permits signed and checks made out in order to really start the building of that parking lot off of Joy Road. But that should be any day now. And Bria and Sam, who just last night we got approval from the Board of Trustees to extend their employment even just a little further.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so this is the second extension. They both worked together while I was away on vacation in California to build a trail all the way from the South Point down by the Metro Park up to Joy Road. And so there's a great pathway that takes you all the way through the property. That's
1.7 miles.
Wow.
And
Wow.
it's amazing, you guys.
Field trip.
It looks like it's been
Yeah,
there, it
right.
looks like it's been there for 10 years.
It looks great.
It's
So can you
walkable.
describe exactly for me to update LPC, where is it?
Yeah, so the trailhead, you mean?
Yeah,
If you're driving on Joy Road,
okay.
where is it? What, does anyone know the name of
You're
that
going which-
housing
you're
development?
You're going, let's say you start at Zeep Road, right? You're
Yeah.
going west on Joy Road. Go down a few hills, that's Joy Road.
Wait, you,
You're going west on Joy Road towards Dexter
okay,
from Zeep. It's on the south side, which is gonna be your left side.
okay.
It's sort of before you get on this one hill, and at the bottom is a subdivision, which I don't know the name of the
I know, I
subdivision.
don't know the name of the subdivision.
It's a
That's the
newer
best way of
subdivision,
But
learning.
that's off to the right.
Off to the right,
Yeah.
there's a road that goes up
Mhm.
there like a dead end, but it's only like probably 3 to 5 years old.
Arlington, Arlington Woods.
Arlington
Yeah,
Woods.
and there is a little silo sign. on the
Arlington
left.
Woods.
Yeah, there's a little south sign, which
I
you,
think
it's easy to
that's-
miss
I
it
think
in the woods.
Arlington Woods.
Directly across from that
Well,
entrance,
sort of
is it? Or
I would
East
say
to there.
The
Okay.
trailhead is if you're at Arlington Woods and you go up that hill, the trailhead is at very
Yep.
What is that, precipice?
Oh,
of
so
the
you
hill?
go in, no, you
Just
don't go
past-
into
just
Arlington.
past
It's,
Fun.
no, it's before Arlington Woods you start going down the hill, Arlington Woods in the bottom.
East of Arlington Hills. Arlington Hills, the entrance to Arlington Hills, which is Arlington Trail, is at a low point. It's right by a stream, so that's the low point. And if you go east on Joy Road, you're going up slightly, and it's just a matter of 10 or 20, 30, 40 yards, something like that.
Yeah.
On the south side.
Okay.
Right, so as you go up, from Arlington, going back towards the, so like near the top of the hill, there's a house there,
Okay.
and we're just next to that house.
But it's on the left as you go west.
Yeah, right, yeah,
Mhm.
right, south side of the road, yeah, to the
But I
left.
think there are some flags.
There's a couple things, like, is there ribbons, pink ribbons? out
So I'm happy to describe it. I also think that we should plan a field trip all together and go out there. But at the very top of that hill, yeah, you'll see spray paint on some trees. Don't be alarmed, those trees are staying. The spray paint indicates that these trees are
Thank you for
staying.
telling me.
Yeah, right.
And that's where the parking lot will be. The shrubbery has been cleared out. You can get one car in there right now. I wouldn't recommend it. It's an all-wheel drive situation. But the trailhead is off of that parking lot, kind of further in the woods. And we've gone through and painted blazes on the trees in blue all the way down to the Metro Park essentially, so Huron River Drive. And there, yeah, you can follow the trail and there's blue markers and I think we should all go together.
Oh, I'd love to.
Can we do that?
I was hoping that we would schedule a date that could work and do one of those kind of like open to the public field trip things.
And where can we all park?
Yeah, I think we'll have to carpool from here, is my thought.
But
It's just
even
hard
if
to
we
get
only
in.
had 2 or 3 cars instead of
Mhm.
6 cars, we still have a bit of a challenge finding a place to park.
Oh,
The
just
driveway up at
SUV.
Huron River Drive, is that locked, where the gate is?
It's locked and there's fallen trees. I guess we could park at the Metro Park.
You have to park at the
and run over
Metro
the
Park.
road.
You
Okay.
you
But how
can't
would-
park any cars off of, on the driveway off of Huron River Drive. You have to park at Metro Park and walk.
You mean Dexter Huron? Is that what you mean?
Dexter Huron Metro Park.
Pretty soggy walk, isn't it, to get across the stream?
Yes.
Yeah, let's do that. I think that's the best way to do it.
Mhm.
Hop in a few cars that are Metro Park
You know,
approved.
I was gonna say, instead of going to the, is it the east lot that we parked in before and then we had to go through that wetland to get to Huron River Drive. But if we went into the park and went to that first parking lot on the right and just walk down the road, it might be easy.
Yeah, I agree.
With the subdivision up north, would that be private property we should park on, or do we have?
The road, I think it's a public road. It's called Park View or
I think it's a private road.
Pine View.
There's Pine View,
Oh, that's a public road, yeah, off of Huron River Drive you're talking about.
yeah, up here or on
Oh,
the
no, I'm
north,
talking about.
at the,
Shore.
no, at what's it called
Pine
again?
View.
Yeah, Pine View is on the
Pinecrest, I'm
south,
sorry.
the one on the north off by off Joy Road.
Oh,
That-
yes, at the north end,
I already lost the
Arlington
name.
Trail.
Arlington Trail. So if we have parked there, like 2 or 3 vehicles and then walk in. And we could do that too, just have to walk on the road.
But that Arlington is a private road,
It is, oh, is it private?
I think so.
Because
I mean, you can park that.
but we're not there for very long.
I know.
But if we're
They're
gonna
probably
be
not
there
gonna
for a
tell us,
while
but-
and walk 2
But I guess, yeah,
miles.
we'll find a date and then we'll just meet here and we'll figure out. the
We'll figure it
logistics
out.
of
Yeah, I think
how we carpool over there.
considering the official kind of capacity of it all, I think the Metro Park is the best.
Yeah.
move.
Okay.
Yeah. Do we want to do what we've done in the past and have it be on a Wednesday at this time? Is that what we've done in the past?
We have, I thought we,
Yeah.
didn't we do it Wednesday?
Well, we did, I mean, we make it another meeting, not our November meeting. We just create another meeting, right?
On a Wednesday at about this time, but
Yeah.
not on the day of our meeting, because if it's a public meeting, we're actually meeting and discussing things, then we have to be able to have it online maybe. So, but if we do a public meeting where the public are invited to join us, and we do it on a off Wednesday, so. then it
How
will-
would next Wednesday look?
Okay, my vote is so dead.
So 17th or 18th. I have a 5 o'clock appointment, but I could do something, if we did a 4 o'clock, I might, well,
I have a
I
late,
also have
I mean, I
a
have a sort of like a 2 o'clock or 2:30 something on that day. Yeah.
What if we did 3 Thursday next Wednesday? Wait, 3:30 next Wednesday?
I don't think I'd be finished that early, but I could join you when I'm just meeting.
Okay. So stick with 4 and
given the size of the park and the length of the trail, did we want to try to walk the whole trail? Because I'm just trying to imagine, do we need an entire hour if we're just going to one place? Because last time we went to 2 or 3 places.
yeah,
If we're just going to one place, would an hour be enough?
I think an hour would be enough and we would just do more of a speed walk and less of like a naturalist walk. It wouldn't be a lot of stopping and looking at cool stuff, but there would be some of that.
Can we meet there? Start our meeting there just to save, 10 or 15 minutes?
Just if we know
Yeah.
where we're parking.
Yeah.
I don't have a county park sticker. I guess I'd be happy to buy one, but
I think that would be beneficial to start, you're talking about meeting at Dexter Huron.
I think that's what Anna was suggesting, yeah.
Yeah,
Is there someone in the little box right now? taking-
No one's gonna be checking at this
At that
time of
time.
year, at this time.
Probably
In the
true.
summer there was.
Probably true. I go through that park almost every day.
Right, at this time, there's really people there. I mean, all summer there's people there, but I mean, in the booth.
Yeah, there's no one in the booth. There'll be one car in the parking lot. Unlike a sunny Sunday in the summer, the parking lot's full. On a cloudy Wednesday
October day.
Wednesday in October, there's like one car.
At 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
why don't we coordinate offline the parking situation? We'll find a way to get everyone in that parking lot and we'll start our meeting there.
I live just a couple hundred yards from there. That might be useful. I don't know.
Oh, well then you're suggesting we park at your house
It's
then?
possible, but
Yeah.
it's farther to walk from my house than from the park. The park is
Oh,
on the way.
do you charge for parking?
I do not charge. and I
Okay.
have,
we get
Just kidding. Just kidding.
I have a fridge full of beer in the garage.
I move that we meet. There's second on that.
So anyway, sorry, I guess I have a 5 o'clock appointment that I'm gonna need 15 minutes to get to, so I'm gonna have to be gone. I have to get in my car and go at 4:45 at the latest.
Okay.
I also have a 5 o'clock, I'll need to leave by like 4:30, maybe 4:20.
So if we get you in from there and show you where the trailhead is, then you can just bolt when you have to.
All
Cause
right.
it's,
Or not maybe walk the whole 1.7.
Okay, that's fine, sure.
Yeah.
You'll
All
get
right,
the idea.
Okay.
perfect, yeah.
So we could
Yeah,
try
it's all marked.
earlier if that would help.
I think I would show up earlier just to see.
If you all can do that, go earlier. I can't go earlier, but I could, I mean, I can figure out how to do it on my own too. I'm
Right.
happy to do that.
Okay.
If it's
Would
best
3:30
for
work?
most people.
All right for others?
Yeah,
yeah,
3:30 is good, okay, 18th.
And did Bria and Sam cut a trail through the meadow too?
Yes,
And through all the bramble parts?
everything.
Wow, but they have like a bulldozer or a brush hog or something?
They brought the brush hog out there and they did a lot of it with loppers, hand tools. They were out there for weeks.
Oh, I see, not just in a day, okay.
They're amazing. One day they got 1.8 miles
A
done.
mile and a half.
it's so clean and solid that it feels like it's been there for 10
It's
years.
really great.
Oh,
It's
okay.
pretty impressive. I will say wear good hiking shoes because there's one steep spot that we need to talk about. That's,
Well, it's good. And if we park at the Metro Park, it is a wet spot, so wear,
Okay.
don't wear, yeah.
But
The
you
last
have
time I walked it, I had my Wellingtons on, my knee, boots would come up to my knee. That was a good choice on the day I went through. Because I walked through the meadow before it had been cut and the meadow was just soaking wet with dew.
but you
Yeah,
want,
this
you
is
want
gonna
good
be my day.
traction.
Yeah,
You want good traction.
But for me, just for me, you can park at the park and then just walk directly back to the entrance and across the street. Access it like that.
Yes.
you'll see the blue
I
on the
think-
trees. Is that your guide to get in?
Yeah, so if you go in the, where the red gate is,
Yeah.
if you go in on that trail, then you'll be able to see the blazes, or are they on the side of the trees?
Yeah, they're on, because that is not currently an entrance and so I didn't blaze from there. Liz, why don't we talk, it might make sense for you to meet us from the north end. Cause if we'll be there before you, half an hour before you.
That
we
would
could
be
probably meet
perfect.
up.
Okay, well, I just have to make sure where I'm going, but
Yeah.
yes, we'll talk.
I think I could give you better direction from the
Okay,
north.
sure,
end.
sure, sure.
Cool. Okay, so to reiterate, Wednesday, the 18th at 3:30 PM, south side of Van Curler, meet at the Metro Park. Awesome, cool, that'll be
And
really
you'll,
fun.
you'll get that posted.
Yeah, yeah, it'll be publicly posted. And yeah, it'd be great if people from the public came. I'm excited for the network effect to happen with Van Curler. Because once people find out about it, they're gonna love it. Mhm. And yeah, that parking lot will be coming in soon. I'll invite Sam and Bria to come on that walk with us too.
Yeah, great.
Another update, the sidewalk connector project at Upland Sow Ridge area is going smoothly. A couple little bumps that are interesting to learn about, like sprinklers and flowers in the right of way that are getting torn up a little bit. I guess that's just part of a project. I'm learning as it goes, but no big hiccups. It seems to be going well. I don't know, anyone else in the room have updates on that or thoughts, questions?
Yeah, I mean, people end up putting sprinklers in the right of way where they're not supposed to do that. So then when you do a project, obviously, I did this for a long time with road commission. People say, oh, you hit my sprinkler. It's like, well, did you get a permit to put your sprinkler in my right of way? Most times the answer is no. So you find those, and the township, I think, is mitigating those, but we did hit a sprinkler heads that were put in there. And when you call Mystig is an organization that marks underground utilities, but no one knows where the sprinklers are, and no one really marks them because they're not part of Mystig. So the contractor has no idea where the sprinkler lines are, and are they, this size line or this size, and so, but you work through those, cap them, sometimes you put them back, sometimes you don't, and yeah. But the contractor, I mean, when I was out there, it looks like a mess, like all construction projects, you gotta tear everything up, and then you start putting it back together. So, we're making good progress, so it's exciting that we'll finally get that. Now, we had the public meeting also, so you can update.
Yeah, that went really well. I think about 20 members of the public were there. We talked about the project, went over a graphic, people asked questions. Everyone was in support of the project. The constructive feedback that we got from a couple folks was just wanting to know about the project sooner. And I think largely that's something that I'm aware of, and I think folks in Township Hall are aware of, just trying to get these projects out. For example, when we think about parking lots and the projects we're working on, like, are the neighbors aware when trees start getting spray painted, what's happening? Do people know that Van Curler is open to the public? No. And so I think that's a good conversation to have. How do we tell people? Yeah.
There were two blips with that one. For one thing, we didn't have the permit until like the day of the public meeting. And the project got moved up a bit because another project got pushed down the road or something.
Where the contractor was able to move ahead, because he was supposed to start in, a week later, because one project finished up. The contractor has opportunity to start earlier in September rather than later in October, usually give them that opportunity. And so that was a little bit, it's like, well, you didn't let us know. So it's all those logistics of trying to let people know. I mean, you put stuff out there, like in the newsletter, but are people really reading it? How do you engage with the public on these projects? I think that's just something that, I know county parks, road commission, city of Ann Arbor, I mean, how do you get word out to the people on stuff that's happening in your community? And if it's good, people are like, oh, okay, good, check it. If it's something controversial, it's like, oh, what, you're doing what? But not, they just accept it until it's like, oh, I forgot, I didn't know that was gonna happen. Because some of these things we've talked about, we did invite them public to these meetings, this is where we do talk about information like this, these are online, I'm trying to share this information with them. So There's always an opportunity for better and improved communication with the public, but it's always tricky.
I'll just point out with the Uplands and Scioto Ridge, Upland Drive and Scioto Ridge, they're closed down while they're doing the construction of the sidewalks. And you have to, for somebody who lives over there or cut through traffic, they're going through the Uplands. I live over there, so as I was going through there to get out on the Scioto Church Road, I saw two sheriff's cop cars in there, so I'm gonna just speculate that the neighbors are tired of people speeding through their neighborhood, so if you're gonna cut through that way, slow down. Because you will get ticketed there. I've never seen two sheriff's cars over there, but I did last night.
Yeah, so I talked with Patrick Shields who lives there, and he said, yeah, they've been keeping busy, they're writing tickets, that's why it's 2 o'clock, it's a right to wait ticket, so.
Yeah, right.
You're allowed to drive through because it's a public road, but you're not allowed to go more than speed limit, which is 25.
And then people are getting pissed off about the Liberty Road,
Yeah,
the bridge
the
right
bridge.
there, they're getting
Yeah.
pissed, so they're just and like, speeding through Liberty Sports Complex and up through, the uplands and
Yep.
they're just sick of waiting, that's been a long, situation since that bridge has been shut down, so I think you're getting all
Yep.
that traffic.
Yep, right, they're working on it now, though.
This
See 'em
shouldn't
out there.
be a super long project, though. It sounds like they can.
No, it should be done by our next meeting, I would guess.
Wow,
That's great.
Yeah, it'll be great. That could be a fun field trip, walk some
Yeah.
sidewalks. together.
Yeah.
Roy, something you just said gave me an idea. So when people are frustrated that they're not aware of things that are going on and our response is like, well, our meetings are open. Realistically, people aren't going to tune into these meetings. People are very busy. I like the idea of being more intentional about the newsletter and maybe in our agendas, having a newsletter section in which every month in this room, we just briefly think like what needs to go on the newsletter. So then what I'm putting out has kind of like a group think to it.
Yeah, good idea. I like that.
Okay, I'll start including that.
Okay.
Yeah, a newsletter doesn't go out every month, it's just seasonal, but that way I can kind of like accrue a little collection of data points to share out.
Good.
Yeah, cool. I put Township Hall on the Parks Report section. I'm not entirely sure why.
Probably because I said update, because I was thinking, they're talking about the walking path, but also then the play structure stuff.
Yeah.
Which is the next item.
That is the next item, maybe that just bleeds into there, but yeah, I'll note, just to remind everyone, well, actually, I have 2 thoughts. In the budget for this fiscal year, we put 200,000 towards Township Hall for this accessible crushed limestone path idea. Obviously not coming to fruition this fiscal year, but I think we got it in there, and so that's something we can really tackle next fiscal year, which really is gonna be coming up. So in the winter time last year was when I started really like digging into the budget and trying to figure out what could happen. For this year, fiscal year starts April 1st. So maybe in our next few meetings, we kind of start thinking about the projects we want to tackle to make sure that they're accurately spoken for in the budget. I will kind of defer to Roy and Rita on that, but just want to put that on our radar. And then, yeah.
And I think related to that too is, at the meeting, it's like, what's the process? And it's like, you gotta plan, 2 to 3 to 4 years out. So it's like, okay, we wanna do a improvement in Park X. It's like, oh, if we just start in December, there's no way that, unless it's really simple, it's probably not gonna happen that fiscal year. So it's like, you're putting stuff in the budget, okay, we wanna hire an engineer or someone to look at designing or doing something in Park X, get it through the process, get it engineered, come up with whatever the solution is, of whatever we wanna do there. Then put it in next year's budget to build it, just, getting permits, getting all the, public input, comments. So I think that's something, start next couple of months, like, okay, probably might not be anything we do next year as far as building, unless there's something already in this year's budget. But you guys start thinking out, it's like, okay, what do we wanna do in 2 to 3 years in this park or that park? So just start thinking, of type of improvements longer term. Can we do that next week? Probably not.
So Steve brought up a good point last meeting about for one of the parks, would it be a good idea to have like a list with boxes or something we can check off, some kind of checklist of what the process could look like and what kind, how far we're going and what are we not thinking of that we need to take care of. And I just keep thinking that would probably be a good idea for just about every project that we do, because there are those systematic things that you have to work through, and you can't do this until you do that. But knowing where you are and what kinds of things can happen.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that was a good idea.
Did you have your hand up?
I did not.
So I guess that's about township hall, so I guess. Anything, any other questions on reports of parks?
Can I just toss in this, it's not on the agenda, but I had spoke to someone, Jill Smith, about possibly helping us move the tables that are stored behind Township Hall that belong in Marshall Park. And she's the kind of person that she's very willing to talk and see what we can work out. I think she's like a one-woman show. I think she could do it. She would need help. She can't pick the tables up herself, but she has the ability of, figuring out what we need and how to do it. So that is something that's on that back cooker. And I don't know if we can get it done this year, but seems like we should be able to.
I also talked to a friend of mine about the trailer, so I guess we have a couple options.
Yeah.
But then I started thinking, do we want to move the tables now with winter coming?
The timing seems.
Right.
Or put the picnic tables out on November?
They
Or-
won't weather
right,
less
for the
under a pavilion.
Oh, that's true, they're right out here, so I guess, yeah, probably makes sense.
And they're built, they've been sitting out in
Yeah,
the weather
so
all
let's
for a
try to
couple of
get that
years
done.
anyway. But I think we may have to do a concrete base for at least one, or I don't know if there is a concrete base. Anyway, just figuring out how to keep them from being stolen, to make sure that they're locked down.
So these are picnic tables, not the benches we were talking about before.
These are tables and they're ADA.
They're like, yeah, kind of composite, maybe they're recycled plastics and they're just in back of Township Hall.
So one of the
Maybe I shouldn't say that publicly.
One of the things I think I remember about the bench idea was to try to get away from the cement platform and have benches where you could just sink more or less some footings or drill some holes. I'm not a construction guy, but whatever that is, where then you drop some concrete in those holes instead of creating an entire base. Could we do the same thing with the tables?
You could create an anchor, I mean, that's sometimes they just create an anchor and chain the anchor to the table. I mean, it's like anything, if someone really wants something, we're doing now with grinding wheels and, battery powered tools, they can get it, but you're just trying to hopefully keep it there.
This is something we want to be kind of mindful of that.
I actually have one more item here before we go to other reps, but it's on my radar that Chris's term ends 11/24 and Liz's term ends 12/8 and Roy's term ends 12/8. And last night, it was on the agenda to recommend another term. And then that was taken off of the agenda. And so I don't really have much to share other than just putting that on people's radars, and I'll try and keep everyone updated about how the Board of Trustees will want us to move forward.
Is it up to the board to vote on who's on this committee, not us to vote on who's on this committee?
Yes.
Okay,
But we want to try to get them staggered, so everyone's time isn't up.
Sure.
That's what happened. in
Yeah.
Parks.
makes
And
sense.
all of a sudden, we were all done November 1st.
Right,
And so that's a horrible way to run
Yeah.
the circus.
right.
So we're gonna try to rethink that. So I think that's why it got reeled back in, so we can reconsider how we can stagger.
And is it something the board automatically takes up, or is there a motion that has to be brought up that, hey, we want to consider Roy for another term, Chris, Liz for another term? How does that work?
Seems to be unclear. This motion was taken off of the agenda, so I think the board is kind of at odds a little bit on the process. I don't know, I can't say more because I don't really know, but I will do some sleuth work and I'll report back.
And another thought is to have like, some people are 1 year, some people are 2 years and, things like that, so that really you're not all done at the same time.
Right,
Yeah,
staggered
right.
terms. And some of us are on this committee because you're on another committee. So if you're not getting reappointed, let's say
The
you're on
other one, yeah,
LPC,
yeah.
then if you're not getting reappointed to LPC, let's say,
Yeah, then I'm automatically off.
yeah, it does. And you're on this because you're on the
Planning
planning.
commission.
Right, so that's where, so I guess I talked to Will, I think he's the one that sort of initiates the renewals and appointments. And then the board has to confirm it,
Right.
as I believe is the
That's-
I
process.
think that might be shifting.
Okay,
Well, that's the way it was last time, I
Yes.
guess, but yeah, maybe that's why they took it off the agenda. How's it
Okay.
shifting?
so,
Do you know?
I don't know.
so, some of us might not be here next time.
Well, if
Shame.
we
Well, I
got
guess we got one more meeting.
One more meeting.
One more meeting. One more meeting.
I think,
Almost all of us on LPC are rotating off, which is exactly speaks to
All, 'cause
exactly,
the whole
all
thing is
except
like-
one person, or maybe 2 people.
Right.
oh, wow.
So that's 5 of us that are gone, so there's basically LPC left.
So
And that's what happened to Parks.
If there's not a reappointment, yeah.
last night,
And tapped.
I went to the BOT meeting late. Did the item similar to this for LPC get pulled as well? Do we know?
Oh, I don't know, I thought you were talking about all of them. I assumed that it was all together. I thought Will was gonna do that.
Seems like that would make sense if
Yeah.
he's just gotta figure out how to make this work so that that doesn't happen.
Yes.
Okay.
Also, LPC is still that way, and all that, because I think these terms, at least when they finally set this up, they did stagger the terms. Because Parks
That's what I
and
understand.
TAP were all, boom, we're all done, and then they didn't appoint anyone, and then.
Yeah, we did stagger this time around.
Yeah.
Some people have 3-year terms, some people have 1-year terms, I think.
Wow.
I think Roy, aren't you a 4-year term?
Huh?
Yeah,
What's
Roy's
that?
been definitely.
I said, aren't you 4-year term?
No, I'm a one, I'm on like a 2-month term right now.
Years.
Okay, thanks, those are all my updates.
Yep.
Okay.
Any reps have updates?
Well, we had our first place-based subcommittee meeting today. Yeah, it was a terrific start. Had a lot to talk about and possibly have an opportunity to, well, of course, Rita's done what, you probably have too. I've done the least amount of
Oh, no, you and me both.
forecasting,
Rita's-
but Rita's been out there. And obviously I'll let you talk about it, but you're sharing some of your information with us about Dolman and Jackson and Eddie and Chelsea, as far as some of the ideas on how we can put our park together and improve and make it even, well, more servicing a wider part of the community than what you've seen in Jackson, but please go ahead to tell more about
Okay,
it.
so one thing I did learn is, with the Eddy Center, I talked to the person that headed the program, and she worked with a former employee of the Eddy Center that's also a landscape person. And so, I don't know if she's actually a landscape architect or she just, whatever, but anyway, they put some things together, and this is, I just wish everyone could just go stop by there. It's at the Eddy Center, and it's a new trail within the last 4 years that they did just before COVID. But it has different areas. It's for school groups, and so the kids can really spread out on the trail, and there are different areas that they can go in, and it's a nature place-based. It's not a playground. And so that designation makes it so that you don't have to have a safety inspection. But it's not, there's no metal and plastic or anything like that. So it's using wood, it's using, a couple of my favorites is just the stumps that are different heights. Kind of cling up just together, and it's just amazing to watch kids just play on them. Another one that is so simple is just sort of a wood platform, like a stage, which is what it's supposed to be, with stumps sitting out so that people can sit and observe what's going on. And as soon as someone sits down, the kids start putting on a show on this stage. It just happens naturally. I've been there several times with different groups, and that's just what they do. So, it's all this sort of free play kind of, anyway, that's at the Eddy Center. I won't go on too
What do they
long.
call it, a nature
Play space.
play space?
So if you call it a nature play space, that everything is natural materials. And then the Dallam Center, I haven't been able to reach anyone there. I've been there with my grandson and again, it's as soon as he was 5 then, and it's just, he did everything. It's just all wood and rocks and big trees that are down that are piled on top of each other in such a way so that kids can, is it ADA? That's one thing, we're gonna be consulting, bringing in Alan Samuels, who came to one of our meetings and talked about design. And he really works with ADA, so he's retired, but he would really like to see that element, make sure that it's played into this. And we also talked about, he talked about that with Anna and I think at that meeting too, is when you create these spaces, make it so that it's usable for different age groups and different times of the day. Some people may want to go there to look at the night sky. Some people, just the way the seating is offered, is it someone that just wants to sit alone with their thoughts? Or is the seating such that it can be more, yes, you can come and sit with me, or you can, someone else can be there, they don't mind that. It's implied by how you design it. And that's very simple stuff, but also different, maybe different kinds of abilities, different kinds of stimulation, and tying in with themes so that we can have different things going on in all of our parks and preserves that sort of make you want to go to the other one and carry on with it. Also thinking about different cultures or diverse peoples or different languages. Like there's just so many different things, water elements. And it doesn't have to mean that we have a pump out there. It can be things that kind of show how water moves through Scioto Township or moves through the state of Michigan or whatever. It's just, but these natural play spaces are just amazing. So
What's the second, you mentioned the Eddy Center, what's the second one?
the second one is Dallam, DAHLEM, the Dallam Center, and that's used to be the Dallam Nature Center. But that's in Jackson. And that one, it's just off the parking lot too. It's super easy to access.
Is it in the city of Jackson?
Out in the woods. Yeah,
I mean,
it's in it's the Jackson Area. Yeah, but it's considered the Jackson area.
okay.
Feels like it's the east side of,
Okay, so it's like,
Dahlem Environmental Education, South Jackson Road.
I don't have a good feel for the layout of where it is because I'm not that familiar with Jackson. But it's the Dallam
okay,
Nature Center.
I appreciate it, I mean,
Is south of town. I'm looking, the map's kind of slow. It's south of Jackson.
Somewhere.
It's coming into focus.
And if anybody ever wanted to, make a field trip and go, if you wanted to go put that together, I'm so willing to
Which
do
one
it.
of those two would you recommend? Eddy Center is just west of Chelsea, that's closer.
Right.
Which one would you recommend for someone who just trying to get a sense of what you're talking about in terms of this?
I think because the Eddy Center is closer, that is super feasible. And if anybody if you just happen to be out by near Jackson or something like that, Dallam is pretty impressive. And they have different elements. They have different things that they've done.
sound more like one location. It sounds like Eddy is sort of like you walk a trail, then you stop here, then you walk a trail, then you stop here, and walk a trail, then stop here.
Yeah, and there's a couple of things that Eddy has. They sort of were a geological center. And so they have beautiful staging areas with rocks. So the different kinds of rocks are all together. There's good signage that identify things. And that the kids climb on them and things like that too. But it's just beautifully done. We use it for education with the schools. But that's close to the building. And then this trail is right off the parking lot. It's a new trail, probably about 4 years. And it winds back into the woods and the different, there are different outbreaks that go out that you can just go, the kids can go explore. So they just run all over the
So
trail.
the trail that goes to the bog.
No, 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 it kind of goes the opposite direction.
Okay.
The trail in the bog is cool though.
I've heard good things about that too, so, okay, yeah. I'm gonna get out there. I'm out to Chelsea anyways. On a nearly daily basis, so I'm gonna find time to get out there and take some pictures, so yeah.
I took some pictures and I can try, I talked to Anna about maybe putting together a slideshow because as we develop different kinds of parks in Scioto Township, it would be nice to explore these elements. And so it's to kind of make Scioto Township set it off a little differently. So, because there are a lot of parks around with swing sets and slides and, you know, all the plastic and metal you want, but this would just give Scioto a different signature in that arena. It might make it a little different. And it's, as long as they're called play spaces, it's just fun, and different. So,
Right, and I'm sure,
I think there was talk of getting some geologic interpretation of these rocks that are out here. Would it be possible to incorporate both the interpretation and the play
Yeah.
scape together?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Nice.
So with the, what we're talking about doing out here right now is possibly with an Eagle Scout. And so we're trying to get everything kind of, our piece of it done so that when the Eagle Scout says, okay, I'm ready, this is what I want to do, we can kind of mentor or check, you know, we can have a discussion and we know a little bit about safety of materials and things like that. And kind of have some idea of what we might like to have out there or where we would like to have it. So that's what we're talking about now. Just kind of get our homework done first. So when this kid shows up, it's ready, we're ready.
and then I think also, like I said, taking it to the township board to get their buy-in, of what we're trying to do, because I mean, I think it all makes sense to a lot of us, but we gotta make sure it makes sense to our elected officials, because some people are like, what's the difference between, you know, a nature play space versus a playground, and having those differences, and one thing is, this thing's probably quite a bit less expensive. You know, those playgrounds, I was out to the one in Lower Huron the other day, I was biking, stopped, took some pictures. I mean, Huron Clinton Metro Parks, Lower Huron Metro Park, which is up Haggerty over by Belleville Airport, that thing. They put a play structure in, it's fantastic, $1 million.
It's really over the
I mean,
top.
some of those things, I mean, you could easily spend $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 on some of those, you know, plastic and steel structures. I mean, they're cool, but super expensive, and I mean, we can, I think, do a lot for 50 or 100K, you know, type thing. You could do like, okay, you know, multiple things where even, you know, sort of like, but, and then like I said, I like the thing, it's like, okay, there's already those plastic and steel structures all over the county. Let's do something different here. And it's like, oh, okay, and you can do it for quite a bit less, and that's what, you know, if the nature play spaces, then that's a whole different, you know, and how those all blend together and make sure the attorneys are all fine with all that.
For like less safety concerns, it seems like if kids don't have things to climb 6 feet off of the ground and fall, then it's not gonna happen.
Mhm.
I'm just curious, like, you know, how many broken bones were there in week 1 when that play structure went up? Because I feel like there's always like,
Right,
Kids
and
get
and
hurt
you keep kids in
constantly
a
on
bubble
those
forever, it's like, wow, just think how much safer it'd be if we didn't have any playgrounds. Right, you know, I mean, that'd be the
Yeah,
safest solution, right, just
right.
eliminate all playgrounds and kids would never get hurt, right?
Yeah.
Or,
No way.
yeah, exactly,
Too
you never rode a bike, you never fall off your bike, right?
True.
But yeah, it's like balance, it's like, oh, wait, that's sort of extreme, it's sort of like, and same with these, like, okay,
Well,
there's
I'm
gotta
gonna
be
try to
some
put
balance.
a slideshow together that shows some of the ideas that I've seen that have excited me, and then we'll also meet with Alan and get some stuff from him. So this is kind of just, you know, putting ideas together, and then of course it will have to be approved by the board, and then it will have to be, you know, kind of built, but
I guarantee one of their questions is gonna be about liability, and if it's not safety certified, then what is the township's liability, so somehow. address that.
Is there anything that Scioto Township has ownership of that has liability to it that it invites the public to use, other than a playground, obviously, because that's what we're talking about. I'm trying to think, because to draw a comparison for the board, hey, you're already allowing these three things that,
Sit at this picnic table at Marshall Park.
well, but you know, I'm just trying to say, to make our point.
I know, you're right,
How
you're
about
right, I
zebra-
agree.
Zebra bike path,
Okay,
I mean, that-
there you
I'm
go.
guessing someone's probably fallen off a bike on
Sure.
that, right?
Yeah, and if it
Yeah,
hasn't
yeah.
been plowed, then it's dangerous.
Exactly, right, yeah.
So there's gotta be some ways to communicate whatever the risk is, you know, playground, play
Yeah.
space. You know, and that's part of maybe the presentation, I guess, and just.
I know, it is, we can take pictures during the winter about.
Mhm. Now, we don't wanna talk about them more pathways though, so we gotta be careful about
No,
that.
we're willing to do
Saying,
anything, but I mean, yeah, I mean, there's risk in anything.
Yes.
Yes,
Like I said,
there
unless you
is.
live in a bubble, there's gonna be risk
Right.
anytime you
Well,
step
I
out in that
like-
parking lot.
I really like your idea of showing examples too, because I think a lot of people that haven't seen one in person are like, well,
Right.
what's a nature place or what is a kid gonna do on a stump? There's a stump over there,
Yeah,
can a kid
but
just
you
go
can-
play on that, like, but
Yeah.
having, where it's intentional, and also I think you can visually see the differences and maybe in some of the safety concerns when you're looking at this giant $1 million,
Mhm.
like, sort of monstrosity, for lack of a better
Right.
word, versus something that is like really visually pleasing and does sort of just look overall more safe,
Mhm.
in my opinion. I don't have kids, so I'm probably not one to speak on that, but
Well, going out with school groups and then going out with my grandson is very telling.
Yeah.
To see how they move, you know, and that you don't have to say anything. They just go right for it.
Mhm.
It's fine.
they know what to do.
Exciting stuff.
Joe, want a quick LPC thing? So I just have two things here. We have a landowner letter going out. I hope this month, it's been a little bit delayed, just to prospective landowners of bigger parcels, farmland, just to, let them know we have this program if they're not aware, and invite them to apply if they ever want to. And then the idea is we sort of cultivate those relationships. The second one is the Baker Road Land Holdings parcel that you may have heard of. It's one out along Baker Road that backs in Dexter. And that's still in discussion, very much so. We adopted a resolution last month recommending that the board look into ways of conserving the whole 237 acres. That we adopted unanimously, but there's been some pushback against that for sure, so. It's privately owned property, there's only so much we can do, but, we're still working on it. It's beautiful, unspoiled piece of property. So that's my,
All right.
Where is it again, Liz?
sorry,
Where is it again?
if frontage along Baker Road, 237 acres, and, it backs into Dexter Crossings. There's also the piece that's in the center of, Sloan, that's arsenic contaminated, that's the same,
That's
owner.
part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's part of it, yeah.
I mean, it's referred to sometimes as the Sloan Preserve.
Sloan,
On
yeah.
both, I mean, even though it's
Well, right,
not.
right, I know, but that's the pieces in the
Right.
center of the same guy.
Chris, do you have anything planning?
Not unless you're interested in parking spaces at Panera, so.
Roads Committee, there was a special assessment district, $85 a parcel that fixed all the gravel collector roads. That's expiring. We elected not to try to renew it, and the last year, year 9, we instance the township decided not to use that money, so that money is actually coming back to all the residents, about $200 person. So now we're figuring out, we really have now no money for roads improvements, so we're looking at a township-wide millage potentially, probably around between 0.8 to 0.9 mils. And this time we'd look at fixing all the public roads. Last time we only fixed like 24 miles, and it's like 60 miles of public road. So this time we look at public road subdivisions, paved and gravel, and other paved local roads. So that's something we can put into the plan and see if there's any support at the township level. And then they sort of gave us a task to come up with this, so that we know there is some support. So that would probably go to the township board sometime, later this year, early next year, for potentially something asked on a 2024 millage. potential that might be happening. One thing that come up is the whole question of sidewalks and connections. Because we sort of touch on it, but really that's not our task, we're pathways, parks and preserves. So, connecting parks, yeah, we're part of it, and it's a linear, but this neighborhood's trying to put sidewalk in, stuff like we are doing right now in Uplands. Is that really our task, or that should be the road task? So that was one of the questions our roads committee really hasn't, sorted out. Is that something that roads committee should be involved with? Also related to that is the bus millage, which sort of there's no real bus committee, so that's up for renewal next year too. So that's sort of like, okay, who's looking into that, as far as, is there a committee that's looking at the current need, any future needs? Is it, under capacity, over capacity? Do we, look at renewing it or whatever? So that's another thing. They've said maybe roads committee, but nothing's been finalized on that. So that's some things road committee has been working through, or at least talking about in the last meeting. So anyone else on any other committees? Okay, anyone else have anything else on, not really the committee? No. It's public comment. Anyone?
Pam Boyd has her hand just raised.
Thank you, Pam Boyd. Liz, did you happen to listen to Mr. Lutton's public comments where he updated the board last night on the Baker Road property?
No, I didn't hear that, Pam.
So you might be interested in that.
He's coming to our meeting tomorrow.
Okay. Also regarding the appointments that were pulled off the agenda last night, I believe the supervisor shall appoint only to the Planning Commission and the ZBA. The other committees, it is board initiated. An educated guess as to why the renewals were pulled last night is because the committee positions were not advertised for residents to be given an opportunity to express interest. We don't want our committees to be seen like a closed club. And so I think it's important that the committees have a post openings just to get new blood into them. So I think advertising all those positions is important. And I'm sorry I was late. I looked for the agenda at 1:45 and I did not see it on the website. Can you please post the agenda and the packet at least a day before? Yeah, and so that would be very much appreciated. That's why it's just me today. Thank you.
Pam, are you still there?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to say that there's always something in the newsletter that invite people if they're interested in joining these committees. I've seen it in there numerous times. And that's one way that it's put out there, that if people are interested in serving on a committee, please step up. All they have to do is contact Will and have a conversation, and that really can, let us know that they're interested. So it's not like a closed club. That's not how this works. It's advertised in such ways that we talk about it so that people have an opportunity to let Will know if they're interested.
Right.
So just so you know, that there's never been like.
And on the website as well, it says.
On the website. So people have an opportunity if they're interested.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Sure.
Anyone else? Anything else for this committee? Not, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Chris will move. I'll move. Steve will second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned at, what time it is? 5:09.